The latest battleground in the long-running fight over the CMP corridor, the New England Clean Energy Connect, will be a Portland courtroom.
The Maine Business Court is scheduled to take up the case 2 weeks from today as corridor supporters try to block the law created by the Question 1 referendum from taking effect. Up in the woods of Somerset County, the corridor is mostly quiet right now, but not silent. Center Maine's Don Carrigan reports.
In the shadow of Coburn Mountain, the corridor itself looks basically done. The company says all but about 2 miles of the 53-mile new section have been cleared. The disputed public lands piece has not. But since the company stopped construction 12 days ago and the Maine D.E.P suspended the project license last week, no more work can happen except this.
The suspension order requires that we spread out these piles of grindings that you see behind me. And that any areas of exposed soil that we stabilize those areas.
Jim Boyle is a private consultant in charge of environmental compliance for the corridor project. The DEP ordered the company to spread ground-up wood called grindings to prevent erosion of the soil. There are huge piles of the material scattered through the cleared area.
The commissioner, as I read the order, wants these piles spread so that they're not here in the growing seasons, because if the piles are there, they'll prevent vegetation from coming up.
In sections with no wood grindings, the crews are spreading hay on the ground instead. This work was ordered because no one knows when or if corridor construction will resume. That may be decided by a court hearing later this month. Avangrid and the NECEC claim the new law passed by voters is unconstitutional and are asking the court to block the law from taking effect. CMP outage coordinator Jim Wright, who also works on the corridor, says the environmental work is a good idea.
With the findings the way they are currently and the work stoppage, it is the best thing to do for the environment. It's a smart thing, get the straw down, get all the environmental controls in place, so while it's out of our hands and in the hands of the court.
The NECEC, of course, hopes that this work is just temporary and that after the court hearing, December 15th, they'll be allowed to come back. But corridor opponents are fighting to keep the project shut down. The Natural Resources Council of Maine is now asking the U.S. Department of Energy and the Army Corps of Engineers to also suspend the permits they issued for the corridor.
The appropriate thing would be for DEP and the federal agencies to be suspending this permit until or unless the CMP receives full clearance from the courts, which could be 6 months from now.
Winter has now started to settle over the upper Kennebec. Once the stabilizing work is finished, the corridor will be quiet while all sides wait to see what happens in southern Maine courtrooms. In West Forks, Don Carrigan, News Center, Maine.
Leaders on both sides of the issue have said whichever side loses in that court case is likely to appeal the decision, meaning final decisions about work could have to wait for months.